All right, I am here with the head coach of the Falcons, Brandon Hanna, getting ready for some Week 11 playoff football. Coach, congratulations, first of all.
Thank you.
First playoff game since 1999, and the first time you guys have hosted in
Ever.
I think ever. So as you guys get ready to go into, let's talk a little bit about the season leading up. One of the things I think that's well known, that NE8 does not take any prisoners. But you guys come out and get it done. Talk a little bit about this year.
Sure. These guys, we started this journey December 1st at 6 a.m. And we tried to tweak our off season a little bit and just get these guys grinded. And we had a good buy-in from the beginning. And, we're seeing the results of these young men. They've been, I'm talking, we've been in the snow, we've been in the rain, all winter long. We weren't just in the weight room at 6 a.m. We were on the track, we were on the field, just plowing through the snow. And it's those times, those days and that work that people don't see, that have helped to build these kids to the level that they're playing at right now. So I just couldn't be more proud. Multiple guys have stepped up for us this year. This senior class is deserving, I kept telling the reporters in Youngstown, I said, we're just gonna keep swinging, right? This NE8's been beating us up for a long time now. And, we were due. The senior class was due for sure.
Yeah, you talk about the seniors coming this year. These are guys that they're definitely not greenhorns. They've all earned their stripes, or out here in Jefferson, their feathers. These guys have gotten some big shots, big games. I would be remiss if I didn't talk about number 4, the man, the myth, Grant Hitchcock, comes out here following 1,000 and 1,000 yard year last year, 1,000 on the ground, 1,000 in the air. He comes out, gets another 1,000 on the ground, deals with some injuries. But I think this year the real sign of him is got to be the leadership. You see guys looking to him.
Big time. He's very unselfish. When we took him out of the quarterback position for 2 weeks this year, the kid stepped up, went to receiver for us, due to his limited throwing at the time. And he was the same kid he was, all season long, whether he was at the helm or not. And kid went out there and got 160, 170 yards receiving and a touchdown or 2 at Niles. He just does it all for us. He leads by example, but he's a kid who, even when the basketball team was on the run this winter, he was in the weight room at 6 a.m., and then staying after school for basketball in the middle of a tremendous playoff run. He's just that kind of young man, a 4.0 kid. He speaks well. He just does he checks a lot of boxes.
Yeah, he's really getting it done, as are, a lot of other guys. Wade and Trent and Mason has become just a phenomenal offensive lineman, Mr. Pancake type of guy.
He's loving it.
You guys are really going out there and getting it done. We're heading into Week 11, and while a lot of teams are preparing for a team they've never seen before, you get the unique advantage or disadvantage for getting to play a team that you already met during the season. What do you got to say? What are we looking at when we see these Poland Bulldogs coming to Jefferson?
I don't think you're ever lucky to draw Poland in any type of football situation. But, a great ball club. I know they were dealing with some injuries at midway through the season. But Coach Pav is doing a great job with those guys. They've always been, you say Poland, you think football, basketball, they've dominated for some years now. So we have a lot of respect for those guys. We were able to go there 2 weeks ago and take care of business on the road. But I'm not new to the game. I know those guys have a great coaching staff. They'll find some tendencies and give us another tough 4 quarters of football this week. But we're looking forward to it. Our kids are excited. And we've done a lot of historic things this season, and hopefully we can add on the first playoff win ever, on top of hosting the first ever playoff game. But no, like I said, Poland's a great ball club. It's going to be a great game.
It is going to be a great game, as it was a couple weeks ago. They always say the hardest thing to do is beat somebody twice, and if anybody's going to be up to the challenge, I'm taking these Falcon boys. This small country town from south part of Ashtabula County has gone out there and did some real work this year, and we're really looking forward to that. Coach Hanna, For the Jefferson Falcons to be successful on Friday, they have to do
stop the run. We have to win the trenches, and that's crazy to say. I think people think of us as just a spread athletic team. Our Coach Furman did a great job with the track team. We did have a solid 4x1 team, so we have some guys that can go. But what people I think aren't understanding is we're tough in the trenches. It is led by Mason Pulowski. But you have Sam Disher, playing left guard. You have Reed Edgar at left tackle. Devin Cowles did a tremendous job, did a great job this offseason, putting on some weight, gaining some strength. He's been snapping for us all year long. And then Cole Brake is a mean machine, at the right tackle position. I couldn't be more proud of his growth as well. So I think, again, if we can get some push up front like we were able to do a couple weeks ago, we've been running the ball efficiently this year. I'm not a big numbers guy, so I don't know where we're at. We're doing enough to get the job done. We're controlling the clock for the most part. Our kids are playing smart football right now. They're playing fast. They're playing physical. We got to continue those things. We're going to have to stop the run. Poland's going to go, I feel like sometimes it looks like they got 12 linemen on the field at times. They're all on one side. So it's some things that we don't see throughout the year. So scout team is fun, drawing up those cards. But no, I think if we can stop the run again, force them to throw, and then if we can get our run game going, we've been pretty balanced too, so we can throw if need be. But our kids just got to keep playing football the Jefferson way.
Yeah, that Jefferson way is going to be paramount. The Jefferson way has led to more wins than losses this year. I know that much. We're looking forward to being right here because that game is going to be telecast right on ysnlive.com, and yours truly and the 440 and Goal crew, along with Pat Sartor, going to be on the call. So it's going to be a great game. If you can't get here, which I'm sure it's going to be an absolutely packed house.
I hope so.
Here in beautiful Jefferson. Make sure you tune in on www.ysnlive.com/440 on Goal. Coach, thanks so much.
Yes, sir. Thank you. YSN 44 on Goal. Sammy Ryan, you guys are doing a tremendous job. We appreciate all the support.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
All right, I am sitting here with the PV Lakers head coach, Neil Croston. Coach, how are you doing today?
Great. Thanks for coming up.
Man, it's a great Monday after that Friday, that's for sure. You guys go down to Matthews, who was 8-1, as you guys go in there and get the job done. How did that game go for you guys?
I mean, early on it was, grind out. First quarter, no one scored. I think we scored second quarter. We went up 8-0. We got the 2-point, which was huge for us because they usually kick extra points. Halftime, we're up 8-0. We ended up scoring third quarter, went up 16. We drove again. We were going to go up, 22-24. We had a little miscommunication there. The bands were playing. I called a play in. They thought it was a pass play. We threw like 2 pass plays the whole game. This is first and goal at the 5. And one Croston thought I said pass, so he told the other Croston pass. We threw a pass and it was a pick 6 for 95 yards. Luckily we came back, had another good drive, and they picked up a late touchdown on us. But overall we played our best game, offense, defense, special teams, and like you said, we picked up a lot of points with them being 8-1, and we jumped up 4 or 5 spots in playoff rankings.
Yeah, it's been an up and down year. Well, more up on the back end of the year. You guys had a little bit of a shaky start, definitely the shakiest that we've ever seen it, out here in PV. But you guys really get it done, and by the time you hit conference play in that NAC, you guys were really moving.
Yeah, I mean, the competition we played early on was tough. We got a young group of guys. We started playing better. A couple guys are injured, missed someone. But yeah, the guys played more confident, and I think we were focused. I mean, not that we're not focused every game, but they were playing for conference championship and making the playoffs, and the guys were focused on the whole time.
Yeah, and the Lakers sunk those hopes, both of them, in one game. But you guys, get the job done on Friday, and now we're heading to a very, very tough and very gritty Brookfield team. What are you getting ready for? What are you looking for in this game?
I mean, you said it, gritty. They're tough. They got big physical linemen. It always starts with, up front. They also get the 2 Jones brothers. One's running back, one's a receiver. They make plays all over the field. They'll spread you out, so we got to be able to play in space. And then on offense, we got to be able to move the ball early in the game, whether it's running or passing, and figure out what we can do. And sometimes the best defense is having first downs and scoring. So we got to be able to figure a way to be balanced and put a little pressure on them. They're a good team, and our guys know that. And so we just want to come out with our best punch and see what happens.
Yeah, you got yourself, if not 2 1,000-yard rushers, at least 2 close to 1,000-yard rushers coming out this year. What is PV going to have to do as a team total to get over on Brookfield? What is the one thing you're going to have to focus on no matter what?
Playing physical. I mean, we did that last week against Matthews. We got to match that. Playoff. We've been in the playoffs the last 2-3 years now, and it's a step up in the playoffs. The speed's faster. The kids playing harder. So our guys, they got to meet that intensity with Brookfield. And early on, within a few plays if your guys are there or not. And the last couple of years with Hillsdale, Mogador, Norway, we were right there, whether we won or lost that first, second quarter. We were with those teams, and then second half is, can you stay with them when they're playing 25 guys and we're only playing 15 or 14? So, I like our chances, and we know guys have played hard for us all year, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. PV, again, we have high expectations for these guys. You guys always seem to get it done. So, as normal, Coach, good luck this week.
All right, thank you.
With the head coach of the Edgewood Warriors, Elijah Cooper, getting ready for some postseason play. First time since 2012. Congratulations, Coach, first on that.
Hey, thank you, Sam. I appreciate it.
So you guys get to this Week 11 matchup in absolutely spectacular fashion. I think we had known that you guys were going to make the playoffs last week. It was a question as to seed, and you go out there and win one of the most electrifying games in Ashtabula County history. Let's talk a little bit about that before we go anywhere else.
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime it's a crosstown rival, you don't really got to get your kids up for the game. Our kids know that their kids obviously know our kids. So going into it, our kids were pretty excited about the opportunity. And throughout the course of the season, that's all we've really talked about is the opportunity to play a meaningful football game. So not only was it a meaningful football game for us because we were in playoff contention, but with it being a crosstown rival and everyone knowing each other, that just made it even more meaningful. So I just think our guys did a great job of stepping up to the challenge. Lakeside's a great football team, and we also play for a trophy, so that added more incentive to it. Getting the Battle of the Bridge trophy back home to Edgewood where it belongs. So we just had a lot of incentives to play hard. And you don't really need those extra incentives when you're playing in a rivalry game. So I just think our guys did a great job of understanding the task at hand, but more importantly, taking advantage of the opportunity we were given.
Yeah, and one of the things you talk about as we head into this Week 11 is everybody wants to be playing their best football. And for the Edgewood Warriors, you guys are most certainly playing your best football. Let's talk a little bit about the season. You guys start off really hot, beating another rival, the school next door rival. You guys go ahead and get that win over Kanya in an absolute thriller, which has been the overall theme of Edgewood football this year. You guys hit some highs and lows throughout the season, but really hit the ground running at the end. Let's talk a little bit about the growth of the team.
Yeah, I would say the growth kind of started in that Cognac game. Typically, in the past, that's been a game that, yes, our kids get up for it because it's a rivalry game, but at the same time, because we've been on the wrong side of it for so long, I think there was a underlining pressure that was there. Because not only were we playing a tough physical Cognac team, we also were going up against tradition. And the tradition of that rivalry says we haven't finished, too well in it. And not only have we not finished well in it, but the games weren't really close. So from a competitive standpoint, we wanted to make sure in the offseason we put our kids in a competitive situation by making sure the weight room was competitive, making sure our 7-on-7 schedule was competitive, and then just making sure we had a workload that just encompassed work, which we encompassed the 5-day work week. In the beginning, it was kind of tough because some of our parents didn't kind of understand, what I was trying to do. But I think, I'm a coach that tells my kids all the time, don't believe it because I tell you. Believe it because of the results you get. So our off-season work kind of led to where we are now. And then getting that big win to start the season off, going for 2 in a critical situation, infusing that confidence and faith into our team. by showing them that, hey, we're not here to compete, we're here to win. But competition is a part of that. So just going out winning some tough football games. I don't feel like we had any blowouts really outside of the Orange game. Every game we've played in has been a competitive game. And that's really what you want, because when you're playing against some better competition, that moment may do something for them, but it's not going to do anything for our guys because we played in a lot of tightly contested games. And fortunate for us, we've been able to come out on top.
Yeah, you talked a little bit about the Orange game. One of the biggest ones, the Chagrin Falls game, I think is the one that kind of puts you over, I guess, a signature trademark win when you guys start to actually move forward. You got a tough one coming up this week in Struthers.
Yeah.
The Wildcats have been up, they've been down. You guys actually have a very similar path to the playoffs.
Yeah.
You coming off of the most successful Edgewood year in quite some time at 6-4, but you're going against a really tough Struthers Wildcat team. What are you guys looking for when you go against the Struthers team?
Well, I think first things first is you just look at their schedule. You look at the conference they're in, the NAC, and you understand that's a tough conference. They've beat some of the upper echelon teams in the NAC. So you just understand that they're a team that kind of rises to the level of their competition. I think everything starts with their quarterback, number 7, who is freakishly elusive. He's not a big kid, but they kind of just give the ball to him and say, hey, good luck trying to stop him. If you look at their roster, on their official roster, he's listed as a receiver. So kudos to them for just putting the ball in their best player's hands and just allowing him to do what he does. And it appears to me that that's been the signature change or adjustment for them this season, is that they made the move at quarterback, and once they made that move at quarterback, it's kind of been smooth sailing for them ever since. And I'm talking like beating some pretty good teams. So they got some other guys too. They got a running back. They got a nasty guy up front. Some nasty guys up front. I shouldn't say just one. They got some nasty guys up front. And if you understand anything about Youngstown football, it's a rich football tradition. So they're going to be hard-nosed. They're going to be great up front. They're going to come after us up front. So we understand that stopping the run is going to be of the utmost importance to us. We want to make them one-dimensional, which making them one-dimensional is going to be tough, but I think our guys are up for the challenge.
Yeah, this is a team that's very talented, and I think one of the best ways to judge a team is their evolution throughout the season, and they've evolved much like you guys have, figuring out their identity much like the Warriors did. This week you talked a little bit about making them one-dimensional, and that's what Edgewood's going to have to do to get that W. What are we going to get to look forward to seeing this week when we see the Warriors take the field?
First thing is you're going to see a team that's just not happy to be in the playoffs. You're going to see a team that realizes we got a great opportunity. We talked all last week prior to the Lakeside game that not only did we have all the incentives of the rivalry, but we had incentives from a postseason standpoint too. Because going into last week, we were sitting at 15. A 15-2 matchup is not insurmountable, but you just understand your chances are real slim just because it's a 15-2 matchup. There's a reason why they're 2, just like there's a reason why you're 15. So we knew beating Lakeside, who's 2 divisions bigger than us, should catapult us pretty far up the standings. So to be able to go from 15 to 9, I think gives us a way better matchup. Struthers is 6-4 like us on the season, and it's an 8-9 matchup. So when you look at the tournament for the NCAA tournament per se, the 8-9 matchup, those are great games because those teams are pretty favorable. So for us, it was about getting a more favorable matchup, getting a team that was more comparable to us, so that we could go into the playoffs and then not be a situation where 15-2 matchup, you're just happy to be there. So our guys, that's the first thing you're going to see is our guys aren't going to flinch. The moment is not going to be too big for our guys because we've experienced other moments throughout this season. We also have talked about this week that there's been a lot of teams in Ashtabula County that have made the playoffs, a lot. And kudos to them because it takes a lot of work to make the playoffs. But we want to be one of the teams from Ashtabula County that not only makes the playoffs, but goes in and wins the game in the playoffs too. So for us, it's just about understanding that we have a great opportunity. The moment can never be too big when you prepare. So our practices up to this point have been pretty good preparation-wise. So we're just going to go out Friday night and let the pieces fall where they may. But ultimately, we will be okay with the result because we will put our best foot forward and we'll be able to live with it either way.
Yeah, and with guys like the team's leading tackler and Seth Enos and touchdown Tony Hall, who's just shy of 2,000 yards. I think it's going to be a really great game to watch, a really great game for anybody who's interested in football. You're not going to want to miss that one. It's going to be right here on YSN as the Warriors take on the Wildcats in playoff football. Coach, thanks so much for taking this time, and congratulations and good luck.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
The Eagles, Coach Don Shimsky. Before we get going anywhere, first things first, Coach, congratulations on making it to the postseason. It's the third time in 2 years for this Geneva Eagles team, so congratulations on that.
Thank you very much. We're proud of the boys.
Yeah, you guys really got it done, and it's been a season that's gone up and down. You guys have had some great games, some games that I'm sure you guys want back. But let's talk a little bit about the season coming up to this point.
Well, I mean, the season overall, from the start, we felt like we had a talented team. We came out in week 1 and didn't play as well as we thought we could. And just from that point on, that was a turning point for us. Our guys, they learned the lessons they needed to. And we had a string of 3 wins that we put together, and it was great. And then we ran into Kirtland, who's Kirtland, they're a great team. And then won a few more games, didn't get it done against Perry, but all in all, if you would have told me at the beginning of the year we'd be a 7-3 football team, I'll take that any day of the week. So very proud of our guys. They've done a great job jumping back and really dealing with the adversities of injuries and just learning the lessons of what it takes to be a winning football team.
Yeah, and one of the things that has happened, you guys have evolved throughout the year. Guys have taken on different roles. Obviously we talk about guys like Luke Smith and Hayden Deemer, Kenny Young coming out, Jake Wilson as the fullback. But let's talk a little bit about the defensive guys who are really getting the job done. You've got Gio Rice, who's made some big plays throughout the year, and a guy like Matt Wright, who, his stats are a little bit quiet, but who's really stepped up on the defensive side.
Yeah, I mean, all those guys, all of them have done a great job. And I don't think, last year we were definitely missing both Johnny Haisler and Jake Wilson. And those were 2 guys that played early on for us and then had season-ending injuries, and we never got them back. And they've been great for us at defensive end. Kenny Pavlison and Jason Thrower have done a tremendous job for us at defensive tackle. We're starting a freshman and inside linebacker, Bryce Pete, he's our leading tackler. He's doing a great job. Logan Queen in the middle is doing a great job. And then, you already mentioned the other guys. I mean, Hayden Deemer and Matt Wright are our 2 outside linebackers. Will Mook is our corner, that opposite of Giovanni, and Luke Smith in the middle. And pretty much fundamentally, we've been pretty sound. We haven't given up a lot of yards to most teams. We haven't given up a lot of big plays, and by forcing teams to play the field, that plays in our hand as to how we win football games. And so, yeah, defensively, our guys have really responded and come into our own.
Yeah, I think really one of the biggest surprises this year for the Geneva Eagles is historically the way you attack Geneva is you put the ball in the air. Well, if you do that this year, you're going to be going against the team that leads the county in takeaways. So these guys have really taken defense personally, and the wing tee has done what the wing tee does and beat up the guys in the trenches, and Geneva has been playing Geneva ball, and it's really fun to watch these kids go out there and succeed. But you guys got a tough matchup. Obviously week 10 you get it done against Chagrin Falls, who's a very good team. But moving on into week 11, tough matchup against this Gilmore Academy team. What are you guys kind of getting ready for to look at with this game?
Well, Gilmore is a very talented team. They're very well coached, and they run a spread offense. And we have to be ready to adjust to that defensively. We have to make sure that we can defend in space, which at times this year we've done really well, and at times this year we haven't. So we just have to be able to try to take away some of the things that they do that they're going to try to capitalize on. They've got a nice quarterback, a nice skill group, and they can throw the ball and run the ball. They're kind of 50-50 on both, so we have to be prepared for that. And then defensively, they run a 4-2-5, and so we're just going to have to go out there and try to do what we do. I mean, just because they run, it's hard for us on film because we see what they run against a spread team. That's not necessarily what we're going to see. So, we have a good idea of how to adjust to just about anything, both offensively and defensively. And it's just going to be a matter of getting into that first quarter, seeing how everything plays out, and make our adjustments from there.
Yeah, one thing Geneva is good for is whoever that defensive coordinator is gets to play for a completely new team, because most of the time you ain't seen it. But when we watch the Eagles take on Gilmore on this Friday, what are we going to get to look forward to watching?
Well, I mean, offensively, we obviously want to control the ball. We want to try to just run our basic wing T team plays to try to, mash up yards and just don't make mistakes. Don't get behind the sticks. Don't, turn the ball over. And then, defensively, we're going to basically do what we've done against spread teams. We're going to make our basic adjustments, our basic trips adjustment, basic empty adjustment, not going to get fancy with things. And it's just a matter of playing our assignments. I tell the kids all the time, we have to be even keeled. Don't get too high, don't get too low, don't let the emotions get the better of you. Just, if something happens bad in the first quarter, we've still got 3 more quarters to play. And so we're going to just try to take advantage of what we've done and try to get the kids to play fast. And if we can do that, then we feel good about Friday night.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I know we're really looking forward to getting to watch this Eagles team go out there, and we want to just wish you guys the best of luck, and we'll see you in week 12, Coach.
All right, hey, thanks, hope so.
I am here with the Lakeside Dragons head coach, Buzz Edwards. First of all, Coach, congratulations on getting to the postseason for the 2nd year in a row here as a Dragon.
Thanks, man.
So it's, the season's had some ups and downs, some great ups, some low downs. Obviously, tough loss last week, but we move on to week 11.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about the season, though, as a whole. How's the season gone, up and down? However, your guys have gotten ready.
I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head. It's been an up and down year with adversity and injuries, and we've had to battle a lot. Our kids have had to battle through a lot. We've had to battle, sicknesses and injuries and kids missing practices. And, I don't think we've gotten to the expectation of the season, and we didn't achieve a lot of the goals that we set early in the year, but we're still a pretty good football team. Last week didn't go the way we wanted it. Geneva game didn't go the way we wanted it. Perry, but 6-4 finish, back-to-back playoff appearances for a program. First time in program history is big. Our defense has played better than it's played since the early 2000s, as good as it has since the early 2000s. And really, the bottom line, and what we've talked about this week, is like we're legit 5 feet away from being 8-2, and if we had gotten those 5 feet, if we had done what it took to earn those 5 feet, we got stopped inside the 1 against Geneva on our final drive to take the lead, and then they marched on the field and scored on us, and then we got stopped at the last play of the game last week against our rival, at home. So, from looking at film and zooming in and doing, your head coach and stuff and trying to find some motivation for your guys, like we're 5 feet away from being 8-2, and I think that's our rallying cry is those are the hardest 5 feet to get. When I took over the program 5 years ago, we were light years away from an 8-2 season, and now to be that close and not get there is frustrating as a coach, and I think it's frustrating as a player too, and kids at our program. But the 5 feet now that's the hardest 5 feet to get. So what we do from here on out to earn that 5 feet, I think that'll define us as a program.
Yeah, you said you're light years away. Sometimes all you need to get those light years is a buzz. So,
There you go. Yeah.
We talked a lot about the last time I talked to you about the offensive weapons you guys have had this year.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the guys I want to talk about on this one is Malachi Donahue and Cam Crockett. These guys have stepped up so big on the defensive side of the
Yes.
ball. And I think really, if you look at Lakeside's trademark this year, offense is great, but defense has been paramount.
Yeah, defensively, going in, since I got here, 5 years ago, I identified, for us to be a better football team, we had to fix the defense. And fixing defense isn't just about X's and O's, it's about Jimmys and Joes and how strong and fast and aggressive you can make your Jimmys and Joes during the offseason. So it's been, a 3 or 4 year commitment to getting better defensively, but we've had some standout guys on defense. You mentioned Cam Crockett came back after a year or two hiatus and focusing on some other sports, and been huge for us. He's a great athlete. He's got a heck of range. He's not afraid to hit people. He's our top defensive productivity point. Him and Malachi are neck and neck on who's going to win that award this year. Malachi Donahue is a 3-year starter for us. He's been through battles. he's one of our better tacklers. And Caleb Stade at middle linebacker for us has been a huge addition. And then the guys up front, and with Nate and being able to have Jimmy Timonier, who's such a good athlete and a versatile player, like to be able to build our defense around those guys. And we've had some depth in the defensive secondary with Mike Yossi and Kawazu, who set the school record for 7 interceptions in a season. Talking about some all-conference guys, and I think they have picked up the slack where we haven't been as good on offense, especially without Jay, losing Jay Sean Sanders for the year after week 3, and Malachi Matlock missing 4 to 5 games, again with some injuries. So, I think our defense stepped up and kept us in some ball games. It gave us opportunities to win, and we've had to change our philosophy offensively because we've become better on defense.
Yeah, the best teams in the state and in the country really evolve, and that's what you guys have done. You guys have had to evolve, and I think you've done it pretty successfully. 6-4 is nothing to bat your eyes at. But you got a tough one coming up this week against a very tough and rejuvenated Riverside. This is a team you guys scrimmaged early in the year and did pretty well against them. But what are you guys looking to do this week, and what are you going to have to look for in Riverside in this playoff game?
We know them well. I've talked at length with Coach Boers, when he took that program over 11, 12 years ago. They were in a similar spot than we were when I took over here. So, always leaning on him for some advice on how to build a program and do it the right way, and build through the youth program and through your middle school programs, and how to handle some things. Their defensive coordinator, Coach Ish over there, I played high school football with him. He was my brother's college roommate, so we know them well. They're a real deal. They're good up front on both sides of the ball. They attack you on both sides of the ball. They're probably the best coach defense we've seen all year. And their quarterback is an electric playmaker. He's the best athlete that we've played all year for defensively. So we're gonna have to do a good job of getting him on the ground. We have to do some things offensively to take advantage of what they do defensively, and really, with us, we talk about our defense and changing how we've done. Like, we've modeled our defense a lot after what they do. They're down the road. Coach Ish has been there with Coach Boers his entire tenure, so they're on like level 260 on their defensive install with what they do, and we're on about level 4 or 5. So they're a little bit more exotic, but when you tear it apart, we're very similar in what we do coverage-wise and scheme-wise and philosophy-wise. So we know we got some ideas, and we know some things that hurt them because we know what hurts us, and then we're very similar on offense. They run a lot of counter. They're a little bit more quarterback run, but they're a lot of quick games, some RPO stuff, a lot of counter, and they got some electric playmakers on the perimeter and running back. So it'll be a good test for us to see where we're at. As a program, we're currently battling some more adversity right now this week at practice with some guys out. So, we go out today and have a good practice and see what we got, and roll out to Riverside Friday and go toe-to-toe with them.
Yeah, this is a team in the Lakeside Dragons that has been the underdog and the favorite, and you guys always seem to show up when you need to, so we're really looking forward to getting to watch that. But as we get ready for this game on Friday, you guys go to Paynesville, Riverside. What are we going to get when the Dragons take the field? What are we going to get to see?
Well, first off, we're going to go there and give them all we got. Since I've been here at Lakeside, that's kind of been our mantra. Like, we're not going to back down from anybody. We're going to play anyone, anytime, anywhere. So we look forward to the challenge. We've been in this position before of being a 14 seed and to go to Hudson last year, and the year before having to go play Nordonia at Nordonia. So, these senior classes has been through this. They know what it's about to be in the playoffs and have to travel and go play a playoff team on the road. So, we're going to go there. We're going to give them hell. We'll see what happens, man.
Listen, I know you guys are absolutely going to do that, and we're hoping that you guys go out there and get the job done. Coach, congratulations on making it, and good luck.
Thanks, man. Appreciate you.
All right, I am here with Conneaut head coach Rocco Dobrin. Rocco, first of all, Coach, congratulations on getting to the postseason this year.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
So, it's been a really, really good season for Conneaut this year, going 8-2. You've had some really great games this year. Didn't start off the best, but you guys really shook it off as well as any team really could. Who are some of the guys that have really stood out this year coming into an 8-2 record?
Obviously Rice was back, and he was the guy that we kind of did things around him to see how he would do, or I guess knowing he would do well. But then some standouts were like Max Gleason and that was kind of that first game jitters, not even knowing who our quarterback was in that first game. But once Max got comfortable, he has become an absolute amazing quarterback for us. We don't throw the ball all that much, but he's consistent when he throws it, and then his legs, his running has been a great compliment to Zach. And then Wyatt Payne, probably our hardest worker in the offseason, is, he's not getting as many touches as he probably could or should because he's behind Zach, but every time he gets an opportunity, he makes the most of it. I mean, he's averaging, yards per carry is up there, in the 7s or 8s, so he's doing a phenomenal job. And then I think, you always want to give credit to the offensive line, but this year it's legit. I mean, it's been a long time since I was like, hey, our offensive line is really good, and across the board, we've even had some injuries. We had 7 guys on the offensive line, and now we're down to 5, but it's still those 5 guys that, they're holding true the whole way. And, Darren Christine, Moses Schwartz, Scotty Edwards. So those guys are doing a great job. And then, not to go too long, but our defense especially stopping the run game has been phenomenal. And that's a tribute to those same guys on the defensive line. But Ty Koval and Bryce Sperling, our inside linebackers, are just killing it. Ty Koval broke our school record just in this last week with he's up to 134 tackles on our stat thing, counting all total tackles in general. And the most we've ever had before that was 114. So Ty Koval's killing it on defense. So you contribute just the hard work put in the off season by all the guys. It's a small team. 2 things I'm going to throw out there that I think are important in an 8-2 season. And the first of all is there's no negativity. And we haven't had that in a while. There is no negativity. This is a great group. And I don't know if it's because it's a small group. We've done more team builders in the off season because COVID's kind of finally over, and so that's a great thing. And then I think the loss to Edgewood, it was an eye opener, and it was hey, we coaches, players, everyone's like, hey, we need to get a lot better. Like, we lost to our rival, and you never want to lose to your rival, and kudos to them and for beating us at the end of the game and winning it. But that was an eye opener. Us like, hey, we need to figure some stuff out. We got to pick a quarterback and go with them. No diciness. We need to buckle down our practices. We need, and we learned a lot from that game. And really that took us, through the season to Northeast. And Northeast, it had 0 wins, and we go and lose 14-12. So then it was back to the drawing board. Like, hey, where did we get big-headed at, or where did we get too complacent and not take every single game serious? And so anytime you lose, if you learn from it, I think it's a good thing. And I think we learned from both of our losses, and that's part of the reason we had such a successful year.
Yeah, you've had guys that have stepped up, like you talked about. I think everybody was expecting big years from, Zach Rice, Max Gleason coming in that quarterback, and he has really been, I call him a Conneaut quarterback. He can throw the ball pretty good, but boy, can he really run and get the job done there. One of the guys I think that sticks out, obviously, Ty Koval on the defensive side. Moses Schwartz seems to have been in the backfield in every play, every game.
Right, absolutely.
You guys are really getting it done. Conneaut 8-2, you guys are going to be hosting. I don't know if it's the first time ever. I know it's the first time that I remember.
Yeah, so and that's a big deal to us. We talked about it on our wall in the gym there. In 1985 was the last time that we made the playoffs. So to us it was important to get in that top 8. Because you want that. Hey, it just went to 16 teams 2 years ago or last year. So you really want to be in that top 8 or win a playoff game. You know what I mean? If you're not in that top 8 and you win that playoff game, you really feel good about where your program is as far as making the playoffs. And so to put our number up on that board next to the 1985 team, I felt like, hey, we really want to get in the top 18. And I've been telling our seniors that all the way through, especially because we lost a lot of seniors from last year. So with the seniors that stayed and stuck around and wanted to be a part of this thing, I said, hey, you stayed for a reason, and that's to get your name on that deal. And now that it came true, like, by that much, we were sitting around Friday night till like midnight until it said clinched 8 spot. I'm like, yeah. It actually went down to 9 first and then back up to 8. So we were watching that, Joe Itel all night long. So it was a big deal, and it's a big deal to these kids, and they really deserved it and earned it, and I'm glad it's this class that gets to put their number up there.
Yeah, you've got some really great kids coming out, and you've had some leadership, and those guys stepped up from last year, from that quiet role to the actual leadership role this year.
Not to cut you off, but I just want to throw out Jaden Anderson's name because I forgot. He's a sophomore. defensive lineman. He got hurt last week, so he didn't get to play. Or he got hurt 2 weeks, so he didn't play last week. And he's going to miss the playoffs on a knee injury. But he's a sophomore that started both ways, all game, both times. And he's leading in tackles for loss for us. And on offense, he was second most in knockdowns. So I just want to throw Jaden's name out there because that kid is the real deal, and I feel terrible that he's going to have to miss the postseason, but I just want to throw his name out because he deserved it.
Yeah, and it's one of those things, you don't get to the postseason without efforts like that. Jaden Anderson, definitely a guy we know as we do the stats every week, and he's there every single week.
Right.
You've had some guys, and that's part of the success, I think. You've got the upperclassmen, they're doing their job, but you don't have complacent underclassmen either. But you guys are getting ready for a really tough matchup this week in Garfield. And what are you looking at? When you see Garfield, what are you guys getting ready for?
They're a super physical team. They run an offense that I really haven't seen. I mean, it's kind of like a single wing / wing T, but out of the shotgun. But we haven't seen this style of offense ever. I think they kind of made it up. But it's a deal where they got about 5 or 6 guys that touch the ball, and they're very run heavy. But there's like 5 or 6 guys that are going to run the ball. And we know that they're physical. We watch them on film, and so we got to shut down the run. And to win a game like that, it's going to be shutting down the run, 1, and 2, it's turnover battle. I mean, and any coach in the country is going to say turnover battle, but if we look back to our game against Rootstown, who was that other physical game on our they're a 7-3 or 8-2 team. When they came to our place, it was like, hey, they can run the ball, they're physical, blah, blah, blah. And then we ended up causing 4 fumbles. I think Ty caused 2 or 3 of them. And that was the difference in that game. So the score looked like a blowout, but it was a very close game. We beat them like 33-14, and it didn't feel like that. Like, I was still worried with 3 minutes left in the game. But that's the type of game this has to be. We've got to try to match their physicality because they're a very physical team. And we got to cause turnovers. And I think stopping the run, causing turnovers, defensively is going to be the key, and then offense, just keep doing what we're doing. Mix up who's touching the ball. Is it Max? Is it Rice? Is it Hindley on a jet sweep? Is it Wyatt Payne over here? Get some throws out to Larry Ham. What can we do? Maybe throw a little bit more than we normally do, but basically do what we do on offense, and that's kind of get a feel throughout the game and then adjust to what they're doing, because we saw how they play defense, and we're like, they're not going to do that against us because they're going to stack the box because we run the ball like 90% of the time this year. So when they do that, we got to have an answer.
Yeah, and it seems like you guys are getting a great day of practice out there today as well. What are we going to get to look forward to seeing when Conneaut takes the field for the first time since 1985 in Week 11?
And here's what I'll ask the kids. I want energy. You know what I mean? That word's a big word that we use in practice this week. And we told these guys, and Moses Schwartz is really the leader in this, but we told these guys, this isn't the end of the year, and that was going into week 8, actually. We said, this ain't the end of the year, this is the beginning of the year. The teams that go to the state championship are playing 16 games. So when you're after week 8, that's only the halfway point for those teams. And every year, you always do the senior stuff, this is the last practice, and we didn't do that. We're not doing that. I want energy, I want it to be like it's the first week out there. And I think our kids brought energy, but when we walk into our stadium Friday night with the band and the cheerleaders, and our community has been so awesome to us as a program, I want our kids to feel that energy and play with that energy. And if they play that hyped up and they do everything they got to do, then it doesn't matter if we win or lose. It's a great experience to always remember, and that's kind of where I feel. And hopefully that energy brings us a win, you know what I mean? But it's how it goes. If you did everything you can, you busted your tail, and things don't go your way, oh well. But if you let things slip and you get turnovers, then you start double guessing yourself. And I don't want it to be a night that we double guess ourselves. We just got to go and lay it on the line and go for it, So
I know we're looking forward to it because this Conneaut team has been very fun to watch for the last couple of years, and especially this year. So we just want to say good luck to you guys again, and we'll see you in Week 12.
Hey, thank you so much, and we appreciate all you guys do.
Thanks, Coach.